go to a baby shower.
Well, that's important.
Yeah. Hey everyone, and welcome to Chef AJ Live. I'm your host, Chef AJ, and this is where I introduce you to amazing people like you who are doing great things in the world that I think you should know about. My guest today has been on the show before. Her name is Tracy Childs, and she is from Tracy's Real Food. Before I introduce her, I just want to let you know that yesterday, the latest issue of the Forks Over Knives wonderful magazine hit the stand. There's over 75, 76, in fact, delicious, healthy recipes with photos. And you can get it on many newsstands, stores like Whole Foods, Sprouts, or even order it from the Forks Over Knives website. But this month, there is a special feature. They did a story about me called Weight Loss Warrior, and they actually featured today's guest in the section of products that I love. She's one of 6 right here, Tracy's Real Foods, and she made a recipe with the products, meaning Chef Darshana Thacker. And Tracy also is one of the contributing chefs to a very, very important book, one of the most important books we all need to read, because it doesn't matter how we eat if we don't have a planet to live on. And it's called Food is Climate by Glenn Mercer. I also contributed recipes to this wonderful book. Please welcome back to the show. She is going to be making recipes with soy. Soy is back, baby. We know it's good now. Not that it ever wasn't, but Dr. Barnard at PCRM did studies with it showing how it decreases menopausal symptoms, hot flashes, and she's going to be making a soybean butter. She's going to make miso glazed tempeh, chocolate shake, and more. Here's Tracy. Nice to see you again.
Hey, Chef AJ. Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor to be here, and thank you for choosing Tracy's Real Foods as one of your chosen food products for whole food plant-based eating and just some convenience items, right? Because we need a little convenience when we're eating this way. We know we're in the kitchen a lot, so having a treat once in a while is important. And so, I mean, we make our own treats, but having getting a gift in the mail is exciting too. And of course, I'm making things that a lot of people can't make. So
yeah. Well, you saved my butt last Christmas when I just couldn't get it together for last minute holiday gifts. And I was sending your stuff to Dr. Clapper and friends and Linda Middlesworth, and they sure loved it, especially the granola.
Yeah, the granola. So I actually thought I'd show the granola because I know that your fans are big fans of my granola. Your followers. So this is my buckwheat granola, and it is amazing. It's dried, dehydrated, so it's raw, and it's got all these seeds and no nuts and buckwheat. So that's what's cool about it. It's for some people who can't eat oats or just want something different or to add to your oats. This is a super easy way to pop up your oatmeal. And that's what I do. I make the overnight oats, but I make it in the morning and let it sit in for about 20 minutes and it's fine. With this, it adds so much flavor to your soy milk and your oats or whatever dairy product you're using, non-dairy product. So, but yeah, so I like you mentioned, I've been following the PCRM. I'm a Food for Life instructor as well. Been a Food for Life instructor since 2005 and one of the first. And so they not only do this outreach, but they also do clinical research. So I love following their just breakthrough research. They may have small studies to start, but then larger studies come from it. And it's amazing stuff. They get great results. And this time they were showing that, well, we already knew that there's no human studies that say there's problems with soy. It does not cause breast cancer. In fact, it can help to lower your risk of breast cancer. I teach how foods fight cancer with the Food for Life program at the PCRM. So I've been kind of like when I'm in the classroom, the first thing I do is I give them the fact sheet on soy, just so they can understand that, I'm going to be using some soy in the class, and you don't need to use it if you don't want to when you're adopting a low-fat plant-based diet. But a lot of people really like that it is more filling. There's a lot of great products made out of it, and it's versatile. So I thought, let's just show the study and talk. Well, so they did a study after the book. Your Body in Balance came out. Now, Dr. Bernard's been on your show, and I was watching that carefully. And he came on to talk about the study that came as an offshoot of this book. So somebody was reading the book. She was on a Zoom call with Dr. Bernard. I just watched a webinar about this yesterday. And she mentioned that after reading the book, she was dealing with hot flashes, and she thought, well, I'm going to start adding more soybeans and see if it helps to balance my hormones. So what she thought to do is just add a half a cup of actual soybeans. This is that. So how many people actually find these at the store? Unfortunately, they're not the most common dry bean that you can get. But it turns out that they are, when you cook them up, they're amazing. They taste really good, surprisingly. Just they're so different from other soy products. And they're smooth textured. Anyways, they have a half a cup of that, has a really good 50 to 60 milligrams of isoflavones, which Chef AJ can now show you the slide, and that I grabbed off of that webinar yesterday. And so that's why it was chosen as your product of choice. And it was super easy for people to go ahead and use it, because you can just cook those in your Instant Pot. You saw those, they're easy. You just soak them or just cook them longer in your Instant Pot. And you can use them. What they instructed people to do is just add them to a soup. They gave them some recipes. They added them to their, I think the lady who's inspirational of it, she actually ate them for breakfast. But sometime during the day, add them to your salad, your soup, whatever, your cereal. And they taste amazing. And they had great results from this study. They had 84%, I think it was. Let me see what it was. 84% drop in menopausal symptoms without drugs. And we know that the drugs that were used in the past, and I think are still used, the HRT, can actually increase your risk of breast cancer. So we really want to stay away from that. But anyways, looking at this, you can see that these are our favorite products, a lot of these down here: tofu, tempeh, soy milk, miso. Well, in order to get the same amount of isoflavones, you need to drink 8.5 cups of soy milk in a day. So that's a lot. And that's a lot of calories too. So I like the idea of just going ahead and adding your soybeans. You might need to order them if they're not available at your store, but and still enjoy the other things. Like I enjoy tofu. I've used tofu. My kids were practically raised on tofu because I became vegan in 1990, and that's when I started having my family, and they loved it. And so that's what we use. It is not the whole soybean. Tempeh is made with a whole soybean. So I'm going to show you a tempeh recipe. And that's, you don't have to eat quite as much of that. So that's good. And so let's get going.
All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah. So I think that might be interesting information for everyone to know. And get your organic, get your non-GMO, make sure that it is, you're using the whole product. There's been a lot of studies done. They've known about soy products and helping with hot flashes and menopausal symptoms for a long time. But a lot of the supplements have processed soy. So stay away from those. Just go ahead and add some soybeans. So let's start with my miso recipe. And I mean, not my miso recipe, my tempeh recipe, which has miso in it. So it's a miso glazed tempeh. And I just want to show you guys the tempeh. See if you can see it. So here is the package of tempeh. And it comes like that if you haven't used it before. It's kind of hard to get into, but you just cut it up and cut down the sides. And then you have your block of tempeh. And so I just give it I like to cut my pieces really small because they do expand when you cook them. They puff up a little bit. So I cut them into like a 1/2 inch pieces. This is about 8 ounces of tempeh. And then I'm going to go ahead and start adding a little bit of my vegetable broth. So I like to make my own vegetable broth. So what I do is I just save my veggies, save the ends of onions, ends of celery, carrots, sweet potatoes, anything that might get thrown away. I just add a little bit, all that stuff in my freezer, and then I make fresh broth. So it's really easy, but you can also buy some vegetable broth. You can buy some powders and things. So I get that going, and I'm going to go ahead and make my sauce. So can you see that? Let's go. Here we go. Yeah, so this has got miso in it here. This is a soy miso. Just want to show you, this is the most like common brand that's at Sprouts and a lot of the stores. It's a light miso. It's organic, and I love, love, love miso. It adds so much flavor. So I'm going to add some date syrup. So in my little bowl here for my sauce.
What kind of date syrup do you use, Tracy?
So this date syrup is, I get a lot of my product or a lot of my ingredients from Azure. And yeah, it's really good to let you guys know about Azure. If you live in a place where they drop ship, it's free shipping. So you can get your soybeans from them. And you can get any amount, but I get this large one because I, use a lot of stuff. And that's theirs. But you can also make your own. You can make your own date paste. You can make your own date syrup, or you can buy it. So I'm going to put in some turmeric. So I'm a really big fan of turmeric. I add turmeric whenever I can because it's anti-inflammatory. And let's see. Oh, and then a little bit of pepper. Just making a nice little sauce here. I'm going to go ahead and put my tempeh in with the broth and get that cooking. Okay, so I've got my miso, I've got my date syrup. So the reason I add a sweetener is tempeh has a little bit of a bite to it, so a little bit of bitterness. So I like it to be a little bit sweet. So can you see that? All right. So I'm going to also add a little nutritional yeast. I'm just adding all my favorite flavors here. All right. So just saute that up. Start it with the vegetable broth. You don't need to use oil. That was also part of the study. It had to be low fat, plant-based diet. I'm sorry I didn't point that out to begin with. They had everybody in the intervention group following a low-fat, plant-based diet because it's better for your microbiome, which is your gut health. And your gut health actually plays a big part in your hormones and how you feel, and also how this isoflavone reacts in your body. All right, so here's our sauce. I'm going to just go ahead and add that to the tempeh. So I like these little tidbits of tempeh because I'm a big proponent of cooking ahead, keeping things on hand, and then I have something ready. I'm on the go all the time, you guys. I'm either delivering product, I'm off to the kitchen to make product, just going. So having stuff in the fridge for my husband and I is awesome. So I add this to salads, make it a nice filling salad this way. Of course, you can just add the soybeans, or you can just add any bean to your salad too. Tofu. You can do the same thing with tofu here. So just as it dries out, you can just add a little more of your broth or water. Because you want enough liquid in here to allow the tempeh to plump up. And that's how you get a nice texture and more flavor. And you know that your flavor has been infused into the tempeh. So just give it a little saute. All right, it doesn't take long. That's what I love to show these kind of recipes, how fast and easy you can include these products into your diet. You know, I actually do the same thing with beans, not on heat though, just put a sauce on them and let them marinate like a nice porous bean, like a cannellini bean. So my husband is 6'2", so he's hungry a lot. And it's important to have these filling foods when you're vegan. So for some people, for him. All right, so now you can see that most of the liquid has been absorbed. And then I like to just add a little nutritional yeast. It's such a favorite of ours. And I'll turn it off. That's that, guys. Do you see how easy that is? Now, when you go to use it, you can do, like I said, a lot of things, but you can also make a little lettuce cup with it. So here's my lettuce. There we go. And you can just take your lettuce and put in a few of your pieces of tempeh. So I'll just do one for now. The others. Get ready for lunch here.
Yeah, that looks delicious, actually.
Yeah, so anything, you know, you can do anything in these. You can, I know you eat a lot of sweet potatoes, AJ, so you can, of course, make a nice savory. I think you could do the same recipe with sweet potatoes, right? And just with cooked sweet potatoes, or if they're not cooked, you could cube them up like this. Just cook them with some water, with the lid on, until they're soft. Then add your sauce.
Yeah, Latif says tempeh is unavailable where they live. Could they do the recipe with tofu?
Yes, you can. Yep, and like I said, you could do it with sweet potatoes. Doesn't have a high isoflavones, but tofu works.
They could add some beans in with the sweet potatoes.
Yeah, I would recommend. Right, exactly. Just put in your soybeans, your cooked soybeans. You can buy those canned. But you can mail order easily. Of course, the soybeans, they're a dry product, so they don't need refrigeration. I got my tempeh at Trader Joe's, which is amazing, godsend to have on hand. And so when I make this a little more colorful, just go ahead and add some, there we go. Some grated carrots, some chopped tomatoes, just decorate it up. And then you have a nice bright meal. So light, low fat, delicious. There's some cilantro on there.
And the plate's beautiful too.
I love my rainbow plates. My tie-dye. All right.
Eat the rainbow on the rainbow.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, absolutely. So now this is interesting. So I developed all these, and I had developed them a while ago, but I was thinking about ideas based on the study. I knew that they had used half a cup of soybeans. I didn't realize why. I just thought, well, that's easy because they can all be shipped, these soybeans. They can all have an Instant Pot. Let's make it really easy for the study participants. But little did I know that they're so high, just the soybean itself is so high in what they wanted. So anyway, I use edamame a lot. I thought, okay, edamame, soybeans, they're interchangeable. Well, they're not interchangeable, but I found out in the webinar that they are actually young soybeans, which I knew that, but they actually have less because they're immature. They have less isoflavones. But let me get my stuff here. They're delicious. So I've got my recipe, which is a colorful edamame salad. And in it, I had said you could use some cannellini beans, which is what a lot of us have on hand because they're a really nice white bean available in the cans. Guess what? You can put soybeans instead. They're a nice light bean. And like I said, I found out that soybeans are delicious. They are porous. They take in the flavors just like cannellini beans. And so they're a great option. So this colorful edamame salad, let me show you all the ingredients over here. So I've got the soybeans. These are just the cooked soybeans. I'm heating up my water because I'm just going to heat up my carrots a little bit. But this is the edamame, so you can see the difference, right? These are green, young, picked in the pod. You can buy them in the pod or you can buy them shelled, frozen. And you can use those. And then this is some carrots. I'm going to go ahead and get those cooked up a little bit because I like them cooked in my salad. Corn, it's so colorful. And then you know what makes this salad really amazing is using a little bit of mint. I got this out of my garden, and a little bit of cilantro. All right, sounds like it's boiling over here. So I'm going to go ahead and add my carrots to just blanch them a little bit. You can use them raw. I like them raw in wraps and in lettuce wraps and things like that. But in the salad, I don't know. I just like them a little bit cooked. So when I'm cooking my edamame, which is available, I had already cooked it, but when you, it's of course frozen, and you can throw the frozen corn in and the carrots in with the edamame and just cook them up that way. So that's nice and fast. Like I said, this is my specialty, and same with PCRM. I'm going to be teaching a class coming up on my with my company Veg Appeal. I have Tracy's Real Foods, which I launched during the pandemic, and Veg Appeal is my coaching company. And I'm going to be teaching a How Foods Fight Cancer class, and then as a bonus, as part of it, is a How Foods Fight Breast Cancer class, and that's at veg-appeal.com. It's going to be online starting in October, which of course is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So the PCRM is having a big, huge Let's Beat Breast Cancer campaign, and I'm so thrilled to be part of it. Just been like so busy with my company, I haven't taught a lot of classes. Was disappointed not to be able to teach in-person classes during the pandemic, but excited to teach online and reach more people all over the country or wherever. Yeah. So I did start the class at 4:30 here on the West Coast so that people could join in at 7:30 on the East Coast or wherever you are. All right. So let's go ahead and get going with the salad. Another great recipe or thing to have on hand, just make a big batch. Let's see here. Make a big batch and have it available. There we go. Oh, it's bringing it a little towards me. There we go. So there's our soybeans cooked in the Instant Pot. And our edamame. They're so colorful. But you saw from the screenshot that they are a little less. You have to eat more of them to get the power. Some corn. This is just thawed out frozen corn. This is a trick I have here. So these are red onions, and that recipe should be included there for you guys. I never really liked raw onions, but I do like them when I marinate them. So what I do is I just cut them up into slices. I put halfway up with apple cider vinegar or white vinegar or rice vinegar, whatever you like, and then water. So I don't use up all my vinegar that way, and it works just great with half water, half vinegar. Don't need anything else, super, super fast. Okay, so let's get our carrots out. Okay, I love this tool. If you don't have this, this is great for cooking greens. I just like my greens, my kale. I was on Chef AJ and did a show all about greens and collards, and this is what I do to cook them up. Just scoop them out of the water.
I always have marinated onions in my fridge.
I always do, yes. Now, since I discovered this, I always do. I throw them on tacos. I put them in salads, wraps. I use so many more onions now and raws, they're very powerful, really good for you, great source of quercetin. They're a cancer fighter as well. So now I'm just going to chop up a little bit of my mint and my cilantro. Just gather them up. I don't mind the stems at all. I don't like any deterrent to adding fresh greens because sometimes I'm just in a hurry, just like everyone else, you know, and just want to get it going. So I'm going to keep those off to the side while this cools a little bit. They do tend to, I'm going to add our dressing first. So the dressing is some rice vinegar, some coconut sugar, but you can use date. I just thought I like coconut sugar for this, but you can use date syrup, date paste, any kind of non-processed sweetener. I use a little bit of pepper in here, and I'm using some Bragg's. You can use you can use salt or don't add it at all, but I like a little bit of Bragg's aminos in here. Let's see my salad. There we go. Yes. So add that dressing. Now, a lot of recipes like this will call for some sesame oil or toasted sesame oil. I admit it has a lot of flavor. It does give you that Asian flavor. But guess what? You can toast your some sesame seeds and grind them up. So that's what I did here. I just toasted up some, oh my gosh, these smell so good. I toasted up some unhulled sesame seeds, and then I just threw them in here and ground them up. And you can just keep this on hand. I'm going to only add like a couple teaspoons to my salad. As much as you want. So the unhulled seeds are higher in calcium. So sesame seeds are a calcium source. Okay, so now you can just add your greens, your nice herbs. Stir that up and give it a chill. Just chill it. Keep it on hand. You're gonna love having this available. Just add it to your salad, just eat it, put it in a lettuce wrap. So now for another really fast way to use those soybeans, I sub this in instead of the shake. I know, I'm sorry. The recipe's there. The shake is super easy to make. It's a soy milkshake. You can use any dairy alternative you have on hand. But I am so thrilled to be able to make something that tastes just like a chocolate shake. Seriously, I'm not kidding. With some dates, frozen bananas, soy milk. You know, honestly, sometimes if I don't have soy milk on hand, I'll use hemp seeds and water in my Vitamix, and that also creates a milk. So it's a really fast way to add some creaminess. Okay, so this is a convenient thing I just invented actually yesterday, is to make a soybean butter. So let me get our stuff over here. Now, I had this morning. So I'm not a big breakfast eater. A lot of people are, but my husband is. So I make him the overnight oats with that granola every day, or he has that. But when I get hungry, I want something fast. It's funny. I'll get hungry at around 10:30, 11 o'clock or something like that. And I just want a little bit because I'll have lunch. So I'm really happy that I invented this or came up with this idea to make this butter, this soybean butter. And then I just have it on like a corn thin or a rice cake or something like that. So I just toast these up in my toaster oven for just, don't toast them too long, they burn. Just toast for like a couple minutes and voila, then spread on some of this. And you know what? It's funny. It's like a hummus, but gosh, you know, these are much softer than chickpeas. They're amazing. Like, and I wanted to show you just the beans themselves. So this is the bean when I soaked it, right? And this is like I said, the bean is very small, but just soak it and cook it up in your Instant Pot. All right, so, oh, another thing I wanted to say, just if you're, you know, concerned about your thyroid, or you know, all of us actually should be making sure we have a source of iodine in our diet. And I use wakame. So I put wakame in with my soaking water, and then I drain it, but I keep it in, and then I cook them with the wakame, and I don't taste the seaweed. I like nori, but I'm not a big fan of a lot of seaweed salads and things like that. So that's a great way. All right, so into our Cuisinart with some soybeans, so just like making a hummus, you can add some tahini. That's just sesame butter and lemon. So it's very much like hummus, but you know what? It's funny. It didn't taste like hummus to me very much. It just has a different texture. And as much lemon as you like. I just like a little bit of tart. I just add, you know, these are nice Meyer lemons from my garden, so there's a lot of juice in them, so just half will do. And again, with the miso. Miso also nice and creamy. I add miso to my hummus a lot. And then I'm going to add a little garlic powder. But, you know, you could add fresh garlic, of course, or not add it at all. Let's see, I'm going to put this backwards. Here we go. Okay, so just get started. Honestly, yesterday, I just mashed them. They were fresh out of the Vitamix, nice and soft. And I just gave them a mash. But I thought, let's try it this way. So you can just put it in a bowl and mash it up and have a little texture. So my husband thought this tasted like egg salad. He thought, okay, good. I used to like egg salad back in the day. You can add different flavors to it. You can add, you can make a type of a salad with it by adding some celery, some grated carrots. But if you want to just keep it simple and have a nice creamy butter on hand, this is amazing. So it really, you got to try it. There is very smooth, creamy,
Have you ever made it with the black soybeans?
No, I haven't used black soybeans yet. Um,
And Susanna wants to know, do all sea vegetables, every single one of them have iodine?
yes. So and it varies. It does vary. Kombu has the most. So when you get an iodine supplement, it'll be kombu normally. But from what I've understood from Dr. Greger and different sources, that it can be a little too high in iodine. You don't want to overdo it. So, and it's kind of tough to tell because you know how much you're consuming and how much, especially if you're just soaking your beans with it. That's why I just use wakame, because wakame is a good source, but it's not quite as high. So yeah. And yeah, so anyways, this I keep in the fridge. You can add it to your salads. You can put it on your wraps. So I just wanted to give another way to go ahead and add those soybeans to your diet. Do not be afraid. Lowers your risk of breast cancer. And what else about the study? So they all had B12, of course. Don't forget to take your B12. They had a lot of veggies. The isoflavone turned into equal. That's a certain chemical that when your microbiome is healthy, it'll turn the isoflavones from the soybeans into equal, which is a powerful decreaser of your hot flashes and your hormone problems that people can have. So, and they did the 12 weeks was the study. So go ahead if you're having problems with hot flashes and or hormonal problems. I mean, I think that guess what, this could work for younger ladies who are having a lot of menstrual cramps. You might try it, and it's gonna increase the amount of fiber you're eating. If you're not already eating a whole food plant-based diet, it's gonna increase the amount of fiber you're eating. So that will help. It will help your microbiome too, eating more fiber. So it can't hurt. Can't hurt, might help, right? So
I'm just wondering why they haven't thought to put it in a pill. Not that I agree with supplements, but you would think with a study like that people would think, well, now let's just make a supplement so people don't have to eat the food,
Yeah, well, that's what there has been. If you look in the women's aisle at the Sprouts or whatever, there are some soybean supplements or soy isoflavone supplements. But yeah, why? I mean,
just have a little bit of soy milk or soybeans or one of these.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're really, really suffering, then I'd recommend you try what they did in the study. But if you're fine and, you just want to, keep your hormones even, yeah, a little bit is fine. If you're sensitive to soy, then there's other things that are higher in isoflavones too, but of course soy is the highest. So
Stephanie wants to know how you cook your soybeans in the Instant Pot.
Okay, so I did soak them. I like to soak all my beans. Now, if you don't, then you just cook them for, I think you set it for 40 minutes. So what I did was I soaked them, drain them, and according to the guide that I have, it said soybeans take about 20 to 25 minutes. So I did 21, which is what I do for chickpeas. I do chickpeas at 21. So I said, let's just go with lucky 21. And it was good. It was great. Yeah, they got nice and soft and perfect, not mushy. They still held their shape. So that's kind of what you want. You don't want to, end up with this mush. So, and you can just boil them on the stove. If you don't have an Instant Pot, you just make sure you use plenty of water, fill it with like several inches over. And soak them. Soaking is always good, especially with the bigger beans. I use lentils in my products. These are my cookies, the latest we have. And you can see that lentils is the first ingredient. And I actually soak the lentils too. I soak them and drain them. They sprout, which makes them more digestible. And then they cook really fast. Those only take, about 5 to 10 minutes to cook after you soak them. So,
So,
great.
what's your best-selling product at Tracy's Real Foods?
So it's the chocolate cookies. Of course. We have a double chocolate cookie that's super popular, especially here locally. Now, a lot of our followers that we ship to are Chef AJ fans. And so a lot of them are avoiding the processed sugar that is in my chocolate chips. So I use it's a raw cane sugar that's in the chocolate chips. It's organic, but it's still, and there's also cocoa butter in the chips. So it's a saturated fat. So if you're really avoiding that, then the carrot cookies is the next. So carrot cake spice cookies.
Have you ever thought of using the chocolate chips that just have chocolate in them and nothing else? They have them at Trader Joe's, for example.
Oh, Trader Joe's? Oh.
Yeah, and it's just 100% cacao. I mean, they're not as sweet, obviously, as ones that have sugar, but
they're not sweet at all.
not sweet at all.
That's the problem. Yeah. So balancing that double chocolate, I think I'd like to try that with a not chocolate cookie that doesn't have the cacao added to it, which of course decreases the sweetness. So I've tried it. Not those, but I tried the stevia sweetened ones, and I tried just cacao nibs, and that just wasn't the same. So
yeah, absolutely.
And I'm happy to offer something that across the board, that's vegan, that a lot of people that are just getting into it will try. In fact, October 1st is the Oktoberfest here, and this organization called Vegan Justice is purchasing 2,000 of our cookies as outreach. And of course, they want the chocolate cookies, and they're going to give out 2,000 cookies from October 1st to October 3rd here in San Diego in the La Mesa area. And if you're watching this, drop by and get a cookie.
You have to make all 2,000 yourself, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
And they have to be individually wrapped too, because it's at a street fair. So they need to be, we just bought a paper bag and some labeling. So,
wow.
But we have to do that. Yeah, we do it all. We're the mom and pop operation here. So it hasn't been steady to get the employees. I want to make sure that before I hire someone that I have enough work for them. I don't want to have it be sporadic. So we just kind of working our tails off right now and just figuring everything out, and hope to grow and bring other people in to help out,
Cool.
But some people work for cookies.
That's nice. Yeah. So Elizabeth's saying roasted cauliflower might be good if somebody couldn't find tempeh, to put in the lettuce wrap.
Mm-hmm.
And yes. Diane said, what is the difference between tofu and tempeh?
So the difference is they're both made with soy. The tempeh is a whole soybean, and it can sometimes have some other things added to it. Like, for instance, the Trader Joe's one has some rice and barley and some millet added to it. It's a fermented product. It's the whole, and it's where did I put it? Oh, it's in the fridge. But anyways, it is, you can see that it's a whole soybean. Now, tofu is they take those soybeans, they soak them. I think that what they do is they chop them all up into a slurry, and then they cook it. And then that slurry is filtered. So there's no fiber left. And so it's kind of like making a cheese, and they use a coagulant to get all that protein mixed together, what's left after they take out the fiber. So tofu is a great product, but it doesn't have the fiber. So if you're eating tofu, I would recommend that you go ahead and add, make sure you eat a lot of veggies too, or, things that are fibrous, have some fiber in your diet too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So how long do your products last, and do you ship only in the United States or everywhere?
Right now, just in the United States. And of course, the granolas, the shelf life is for like 6 months. They're a sealed up product. They're dried, dehydrated, so no problem there. The cookies are a moist product, like a homemade cookie, and they are packaged like this, so they're fresh baked, and they ship fine. We ship them across the country. We get people on the East Coast. We just try to ship it as fast as possible. We ask that people choose the higher shipping. if they are on the East Coast. But here in Los Angeles or here in Southern California, we can ship it on UPS ground and it takes 1 day. So, but if we ship UPS 2-day, it takes like 2 to 3 days. So, well, 2 days, 2 days, 3 days, 3 days, or whatever. So, anyway, they should be refrigerated once you get them, once they arrive. And if you purchase them at a store, I only sell to stores that can refrigerate our products, and then just go ahead and enjoy it. Oh, but if you don't enjoy it in the next couple of days, go ahead and put it in the fridge. And they last for 2 weeks. They last for 2 or 3 weeks. That's what we put on our back of our product, is about 3 weeks chilled. So they're great.
What stores can we find your product in and where?
So right now, just in the San Diego area, our granolas are available at Seaside Market. You can check our where to buy page on our, just on about on our website. So click about and then drag down to where to buy. And we're about 9 or 10 different places. We're starting to do the pop-ups. They've just started this summer here in San Diego. We want to expand to do ones in LA as we get, so that we can produce more product and keep up with our demand. But right now we do these like vegan pop-ups, and they've been super popular. And I've started to create cheeses. So I sell those at the pop-ups. So that's a really good idea to come down to San Diego if you're in the area at all and can. The cheeses are amazing. The cheeses are actually, I should try soybeans, but they are half beans, half cashews. And so it lowers the fat by a lot. They're, a lot less guilt associated with those vegan cheeses, and they are a fermented product. And then I do a queso cheese, which is sunflower seed based. So lots of different variety. The queso cheese is kind of like the bitchin sauce that's super popular, but so full of oil. And my idea is there's just to, produce those type of things, but make them guilt-free. Make them so you can use them every day and not have the problems with the oil added and things that can pack on the pounds, frankly, and just aren't healthy for us.
That's fabulous. And you're offering the live viewers, well, actually, they don't have to be live if they see the show notes, which they can see only on YouTube. Buy 3, get 1 free, guys, using AJ Live as the code.
So that means, yes, if you buy 3 of these granolas, you pick up 3, and then you can pick out a cookie to go along with it. We do have our 2 packs of cookies available now. So, but if you choose one of those, that's what's going to be free, because it automatically chooses the cheapest option. But I wanted to make sure that people had a chance to try a lot of different things. So we do have those available now if you want to get that. So yeah, it's a great deal. I know everybody's going to love it. And thank you so much, Chef AJ, for having me here.
No, thank you. And hopefully the Forks Over Knives will get more people to know about your wonderful product.
Yeah, let me show it again. Forks Over Knives, it's on the stands, newsstands, by your grocery store like Sprouts, which is what we have nearby. And I can't wait to try this recipe. I'm going to Sedona for a little vacation in a couple weeks, and I'm making this for us.
That sounds fantastic.
That's my ginger cookies split in half like a bagel with the whoopie filling is a sweet potato, almond butter, and dates.
That sounds amazing.
So good.
Great.
Well, I think it'll be great.
Thanks so much, Tracy, and best of luck to you with your
2,000
cookies. I mean, not the worst, but I once got hired by TCRM at a conference in LA, and I had to make like 60 triple layer German chocolate cakes, and that was like really hard.
Oh.
And I had no help, so I cannot imagine just doing 2,000 cookies. You're going to be making up a storm.
Okay. This I think that beats the cakes, because you can't.
One thing nice about cookies, hopefully you can get quite a few on a tray at a time.
Yeah, and we can freeze them, so they freeze. Oh, that's another thing, is our cookies freeze really well, everybody. So you just come out and you let them thaw, and you just eat them. Well, when it's hot like now, you just eat them straight out of the freezer. They're amazing. So
that's great. Or make the whoopie filling.
Yeah.
That sounds great. Thanks so much, Tracy. It's great catching up with you.
Yes.
And Thanks all of you for watching another episode of Chef AJ Live. Please come back in 2 hours where we have another wonderful cooking demo from Melissa, the founder of Wanna Date. She was on Shark Tank. Her product comes in 5 flavors and it's delicious. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's like a date paste that is sold in jars. I've seen it at Whole Foods. It comes in chocolate, vanilla, plain, pumpkin, and cinnamon.
Oh, it sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's good. So then people that don't want to make their own date paste, just like there's date syrup for people that don't want to make their own date syrup.
Have a party.
Yeah, great. Take care, Tracy.